Guy has his blinker on in front of me. Is he going to go into that lane and then all of a sudden change his mind? I always squeeze out a little bit to the right just in case he decides to go back in the lane that he came from. That's one thing that I usually always do whenever I'm riding and I see someone taking a turn like this to the left. I always just give them space right in here so that in case they decide to go back, I have bigger distance, greater distance between me and them. Greater distance is always good. The more distance that you can put between you and the vehicle or the vehicles around you, the safer and the better that you'll be. When you have areas like this, intersections are dangerous. I mean, there's a car right there pulling out. I'm looking out for him, making sure that he's actually going into his lane and not into mine. Right here, this is a situation I want to talk about. You've got a car that has turned on its turn signal and clearly is wanting to go right. You got a car behind it that is driving relatively close. You can expect this car right here to want to turn into your lane because they're impatient. So always watch out and be careful in these type of situations. I always try to, get more distance between this car and me, just in case that car decides to change lanes. So these are the things you got to watch out for. Someone's making a right turn, someone's driving up behind them. Most likely, you can expect that person behind this car to be impatient, and you can expect them to change lanes suddenly, quickly, and onto you. So you got to be prepared for that. Right now, I'm also cruising over this bridge. I'm sticking to the left. There is no point of me even being in the center of the lane. There's no point of me being right here, and the only reason I'm riding right here is because there are no vehicles right to the right of me. It's clear, it's safe. But generally speaking, I will always be out furthest away from the cars that are around me. That is my goal, that is my thinking. Place myself on the road as far as possible from any and all vehicles on the road, and especially those vehicles that are high-risk vehicles. Like going back to this clip, that vehicle was a high-risk vehicle. Intersections, like this one right here, that's a high-risk area. That vehicle is a high-risk vehicle because it could be turning onto your lane. So position yourself as far away as possible in those type of situations so that you can safeguard and protect yourself. Okay, right here, I want to talk about this situation. Coming up to a red light, you can see that this car is in the middle lane, coming up behind 4 vehicles, and there's only one vehicle standing in this lane. You can expect this car to want to change lanes into your lane here because, again, people are impatient. They want to be out ahead, out in front. That is something that you also need to watch for. You can expect this car to make a sudden lane change into your lane and run you over, cause an accident. So in those type of situations, when I'm right about here, I am really paying attention to what that car is doing. Is it do I see the driver looking into the mirror, planning a lane change? Do I see a turn signal? Do I see them creeping up into my lane? Whatever it is, I try to watch for these cues to make sure I'm as protected as I possibly can be. And in that case, the car stayed in its lane, and that's good. Always something to watch for, I'm telling you. And the more that you ride, all this stuff just becomes second nature, and you really don't really think about it. You just do it because you're just so used to doing it after having rode for as long as you have. I might be talking a lot and explaining a lot and that sort of thing, but all this stuff isn't really just running through my mind whenever I'm riding. It's just, you just do it without really even thinking. Downshift. Ooh, those cracks and pops, man, that sounds beautiful. whenever I stop in situations like this, I always turn my handlebar so I can see with my mirror the car that is coming up behind me to make sure that they see me and that the coast is clear. Because if you just have your handlebars straight, you're really not going to see that car coming up behind you unless you physically turn your head. So, little tip there. All right, where do we stop? Well, there's more space to the left of this Kia up ahead of us. So I'm just gonna pull over to the left side. And I'm gonna patiently wait here for the light to turn green. I don't wanna be parked right there, because in case someone comes flying up behind me, I'm, gonna have a tighter squeeze. The left side, right here, got more space. So that's where I'm going. Don't change your mind. See how I switched over to the right side of my lane just in case. I don't understand motorcyclists that are cruising right here on this side of the lane, and there's a car going there and they continue driving here. What if that car decides to change lanes? You're not going to have time to react, or you might, depending on the speed. But it's always better to position yourself further from that vehicle just in case that car is churning into there, and then it's like, oh shoot, that's not the lane, or that's not the turn that I need to take, and they go right back into your lane, sideswipe you, you come crashing down. That's no good, that's no fun. All right, checking my mirrors, making sure there's no one close up behind me, and I am picking my spot in the lane. Sometimes in these type of situations, I would actually go to the right side just because there's a lot of traffic zipping by on your left for the turning lane, and you don't want to really be too close to those vehicles. So yeah, when you're riding, you always want to be fluid-like, always want to be moving. You don't really want to be stationary. I mean, unless, there's obviously certain situations that if the conditions allow for it, yeah, sure, go in your spot and just cruise and relax and don't really think about anything. But when you're in the city and you're riding like this, you always want to you got to be fluid, you got to be moving, you got to be checking, double checking, making sure that wherever it is that you're positioning yourself is the safest place to be. Because if you're not, you can get yourself in trouble. Beautiful morning out today. I've got to say, it's showing 89 degrees on my dash there, but it's not really 89. But kind of warmed up in the sun. It's somewhere around, I think, 82, 83. And, 10 o'clock in the morning. Man, this is why I love Florida. I really do. I love it. It's because of the weather. People oftentimes complain about it, and they're like, oh man, I don't know how you live there. It's way too hot. It's so humid. Yeah. I don't know, not for me. I would any day pick having the heat and the humidity over cold weather that I can't even take my bike out in. Here, I can literally ride year round. Unless we're having some tropical storm or something moving through and it's just bringing a lot of rain. Sure, I won't take the bike out to ride then. Or if, some days during the winter time it drops down to like 40 degrees or 45 degrees and I'm like, nah, I don't feel like going out, I'll just wait a day or two and I'll climb back up to, 60, 65 and then I'll go. But really, yeah, I mean, year round you can just go out ride and have a good time, and that's why I love Florida. Well, that's one of the reasons. A lot more reasons than that, but that is one of them, because I ride my bike pretty much every day, and it's great to be in a spot that allows for it. Okay, I'm pretty sure I can turn right here on red. Take this road, nice and pretty. All right, you saw me right there. Changed positions in the lane, moved away from that vehicle right there to give myself more space. And then I moved right back. Why? So that I can see ahead. That is super, super important when you're motorcycling. Doesn't matter what road you're on, but you need to be able to see ahead. And that's, you know, also where the danger comes in from just riding too close to the vehicle in front of you, is that you are limiting the time that you will have to react to something if there's something on the road or if something flies out of the vehicle ahead of you. So always try to position yourself in a place where you're able to see up front. Okay, this car on the left, are you stopping? Good. They got a yield sign, but always make sure they're actually yielding to you. And we got Mr. Popo. But we're driving by the speed limit, so we're all good. You know, and that's another thing I want to talk about, guys, is speed. I know that speed, it is fun to go quick. Your adrenaline is pumping. You're just, it's fun. It is. And you know, and to everyone it's different. There comes an age or a time of where you just don't really desire that anymore. And I'm actually getting to that point now in my life, being in my early 30s, but I no longer desire to really go quick. I mean, sure, sometimes a little quick burst here and there, just to whatever, you know, it's fun, but I want to take it easy. So watch your speed, guys, because speed is a killer. Speed is a killer, and as I'm saying that, I am speeding somewhat. But it's appropriate in this situation. But yeah, just be careful, guys. You know, if the place or area allows for it, sure, you can give a little squeeze here and there. But really, better to go slower and live to see another day instead of going fast and enjoying that for a few seconds. All right, four-way stop, making sure that there are no vehicles. Okay, this vehicle pulling out. Okay, he's going that way, so we're good. So this is all the stuff that's running through my mind whenever I ride. You know, and always constantly scanning what you've got going on up ahead of you. Scanning for vehicles wanting to pull out of a road, out of an intersection, out of whatever. You know, this area right here is a residential, you know, house type area. And you know, so you're not really going to have too many people that are just, you know, that are having other vehicles be in their way and are making more rash, irrational decisions. So it's a little safer out here, but you still got to watch out for the people that are, you know, pulling out of these little side streets. Let's go out to the end here. I'll show you guys what's out here. Blind turn. Slow down, because you don't know if someone's flying on the other side and halfway into your lane because they can't make that turn. Blind turns are dangerous, but here in Florida, you don't really have many blind turns. They're, you know, roads are oftentimes very straight with no turns. So, But if you live in an area that's, you know, mountainous and you got turns and all that stuff, which I used to live in one of those areas before, about 7 years ago. You gotta be careful, you gotta watch out. Turns are dangerous, as there are many examples on YouTube with people crashing on them. So gotta watch out. Alright, so this is a place I like to come out to sometimes. If I just want to go for a little cruise around the house, near the house. It's just kind of a nice little destination spot. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful here, and nice little spot to end the ride at. Alright, I'm going to end the video here. Hope you enjoyed that. If you did, leave a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. If you have any questions or comments on things that I've talked about, maybe that you don't agree on, let me know in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Have a good one.